Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Have to, because we were both recording separately.
I see.
Yeah.
Wait, how's my levels?
But we
Regular
combine
Dave
them
levels?
so it sounds like we're all in the same room.
Yeah.
But that's lying.
It is. It's lying for money.
It's a beautiful lie.
Which is the best kind of lying.
I'm gonna keep telling the audience that you're not here and be like, "Where is that? What? Who's talking? There's nobody else here."
We're being contacted from beyond space and time. And he wants to talk to us about this Jesse Eisenberg movie.
Oh, God. God wants to talk to me about Jesse Eisenberg. What's new?
God, what if you met God and that's all he wanted to talk about?
He wanted to just tell you the good word about Jesse Eisenberg.
God, please give me some hope in this trying times. You want to hear about Jesse Eisenberg?
You seen 15 minutes or less?
I thought it was pretty good, Mark Zuckerberg. What do you think?
Have we started? I feel like we've started.
Yeah, I guess we have. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
I'm God. I love that Jesse Eisenberg.
Your God sounds almost like the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? I don't remember. He did a lot of voices for Disney, didn't he?
Wait, the Mad... Tom, you were going to introduce the show.
I was going to introduce the show, but now I'm caught up on the name of the guy that voiced the Mad Hatter, which I'm almost remembering.
I think this is my record in how quickly I've derailed the show.
Yeah, good job.
Like before it even began.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hypecast.
Welcome
there,
to
we
Hypecast!
got it out of the way. We got Hypecast.
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Ryman.
I am the other David Bell, and who are you?
Who am I?
What are you
Who are you?
doing? What
Me?
is this?
Well,
Make yourself
I
known.
just kind of walked in here and I sat down and here I am. No, I'm Kate. Goofs and jokes aside, I'm Katie Goldin. Joining here, I'm the. Do I have to explain myself?
No. We always make people introduce
I'm
themselves.
Katie
You
Goldin.
can plug something right now if you want, or like
sure.
say.
Yeah, give me money on my SoundCloud. Isn't that? No, that's not how it works. No, I'm the host of Creature Feature. Sorry, I just can't. I have to cough whenever I say the name of my own show.
Yeah, it's in the title.
It's actually written in there lexiconographically. But yeah, so I host Creature Feature. I am the sort of human translator that creates the Twitter account ProBird Rights, and yeah, that's
Welcome.
and I guess the creator of Swolefield. I don't know.
You
Yeah.
are
100%
the mother
the creator of
Swolefield.
I'm kind of standing. I'm like I'm making eye contact with Swolefield because Dave's wearing he's also working it, but he's wearing a Swolefield shirt.
I am. I was picking out my shirt earlier, and I was like, "Well, Katie's coming."
Right. I love to stare at my creation in its
Exactly.
vascular eyes.
Waiting for it to demand of me why I gave it life.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Why did you create me?
Sup upon my blood, my creation, so that you might grow strong.
Ed Wynn played the
Edwin, right.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Good job, everybody.
I love Jesse Eisenberg and the Social Network.
I love Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Before we begin,
Yeah.
before we technically begin,
Yes.
we have a producers now on this show. Katie,
do.
since you've been on this, we have producer nods through our Patreon. Some wonderful people who have donated, subscribed.
Well, I'm sure they're mostly wonderful. I'm sure some of them are probably bastards.
Well, let's
And
figure it out. Let's
that
figure it
bastard
out.
knows who they are.
So
Right.
we got a bunch of new ones this week. First one is Bart Fartigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bart Fartigan. That's
He's not the bastard. I can tell.
No,
he or
no.
she, they are not the bastard.
that shit rolls off your tongue.
Oh, yeah. That.
They get to choose. I made the mistake of telling them, like, yeah, what do you want to be credited as?
Well, if they didn't all do farts, then I am very disappointed.
Yes. Well, you're about to be.
It's a
Yeah.
waste
Next
of
one
a
is-
tier. Yeah, honestly.
Next new producer is AJ. I don't know. Maybe Andrew Jackson is what it stands for.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know what the AJ stands for. We can figure it out as we go.
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie could
Big
be
possibility. Yeah.
could be Angie. Thank you, AJ. Tip, quote, I guess I'm doing this now, end quote, drizzle. Tip drizzle.
Tip
so,
drizzle.
I don't know why Tip drizzle is judging us with I guess I'm doing this now. Like, man. Guess I'm supporting you guys. My name's
Guess we're
Tip
doing
drizzle.
this now. Guess we're exchanging capital now.
Right. And Frankly Amish, who I assume isn't actually Amish.
Frankly Amish. Just
Frankly Amish.
very frank about his Amishness.
I like coyly Amish.
So those are the-
Coquettishly Amish.
Those are our new producers. And of course, shout out to our other producers, Miss Voidus, the ghost of Dave Thomas,
Founder of
Aaron
Wendy's.
Burser. What's that?
Founder of Wendy's.
Yes, founder of Wendy's. Aaron Burser, David Knife Boot Henson, Christopher Robert Sparks Esquire, our lawyer, Mackenzie, Righteous Hands of the Lizard People Chill, Funky J, Funky Jesus,
Dancing
and
Jesus.
Pie Guy, Darren Aronofsky. Thank you guys so much.
It's a real.
We're gonna figure
it's
out.
a murderer's row of producers.
It really is.
I owe you nothing.
You owe yes. It's true. You don't have to tell
I
them
bow
anything.
to none of you.
I stayed silent in protest.
But I don't know which one's the monster. I guess we'll figure it out as we go.
One of you's a son of a bitch, and we're going to find out which one.
We're gonna find out. I have.
We
see,
will
here's the
discover
thing.
it.
Because they're now on a mailing list. We send them merch and stuff too, so I know where they live.
Ooh.
So they should keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind before supporting creators.
Yeah.
We find out where you live.
I'll fucking come to your
Think
house.
about which creators you actually want to know your home address
Exactly.
of. Choose wisely.
Yeah,
Should it be Dave?
We may do a pop up. You know, we may just come by and be like, "Hey,
Right.
want to hang out?"
Or we may just desperately show up like, hey, I need a place to lay low real quick.
Oh yeah, that's what Topher Bobby is for.
Yeah. So yeah. That's that. We can talk about trailers now if you guys want. I also wanted to
Yes.
Do you want me to derail it some more? I've been trying to create a mind palace, you guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, like ironically, but then it actually is working.
Oh, nice.
You guys ever try to create a memory palace?
Well, I try to use my home and from like my childhood home, and then
Me too.
what happens is then I just kind of like walk. It's like here I'll put my grocery list in the bathroom, and then I'm like, hey, I haven't seen this Reader's Digest in a while. I get all distracted and
Right.
forgot what I was doing in there, and
All right. I used my childhood desk because the smaller you go, the less distracted you get.
I see.
Yeah, that's the secret. It's really effective. I gotta say, it's not like Sherlock Holmes. You're not supposed to like put a bunch of words and shit in it. That defeats the purpose.
Well, what I like to do is close my eyes and wave my arms around
Sure.
as I'm like reorganizing the words to solve the mystery
Oh,
puzzle.
yeah.
And what happened, it's weird. People don't respond positively to that. They're like, are you okay? You're
No.
just, your eyes are closed and your arms are moving and you're like shaking your head and nodding, and they find it very distressing.
Right, and you like wave away words that
Right.
don't matter to you, like
Right.
your Tom Cruise in Minority
Right,
Report.
right. It
I
looks
wind up spending so much time, digging the pit in my basement that I just never get to the rest of my memory palace.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Your project pit.
Yeah,
You got to do it. You,
You
guys
gotta have a
do
hobby
it.
pit.
it's my friend pit.
Yeah.
You know.
For the new and old friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The new friends and then the friends that you're done with.
Yeah.
You don't need anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this first trailer.
Okay.
Spenser Confidential.
Oh, Mark
Guys.
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is a violent guy from Boston. Can you guys like buy that? Like I don't see.
I
Beating
had
up-
to
beating-
sit down to wrap my head
Mark
around this.
Wahlberg, a violent guy from Boston, beating up minorities. I've never heard that
Yeah.
story before. Oof.
This is
Hey, get out of my town.
Oof.
I was
Like
wondering
with
if
a
maybe
big-
you could pardon me for my hate crime.
Oh God. Yeah, I look, I don't know, maybe I'm being overly sensitive, but I felt like this trailer was insensitive on things.
I kind of agree, and I can't put my finger on why. I think it's just because it's Mark Wahlberg.
Well,
Right.
it's Mark Wahlberg who, I don't know, like every time I see Mark Wahlberg, like I know this, I'm going to get like teased about this, but it's like he just looks problematic, you know?
He does. The shape of his head, that slight squint.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
like he's scanning the horizon for
there's
minorities.
There's a furrow on his brow, and you look at it and you look closer, and there's just like a racist Jewish meme in there.
Yeah.
It's weird because I guess it's racist to say that someone looks racist, right? Because he's a white guy, but
not
he
if,
looks.
not if
No,
he's
no,
a
no, no.
not if he's a demonstrable racist.
Well, no,
We know.
I know, but I know
No,
also.
it's because he's a Mark Wahlberg, not because he's white.
Well, yeah, okay, that's true. It's also, if you take away everything you know about Mark Wahlberg, he's still like one of those actors, and there's many where it's just like, oh, that guy looks like he could play a racist. Like he just looks like a
really
racist.
he looks really intense.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you combine
like
that
a
with the
racist
knowledge,
way.
well, yeah, I think it's hard to separate it now because when you combine that with the knowledge of his hate crime, it's like
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, he just-
is that a well-known thing? Do people need a recap
I think so.
of?
I think so.
I think
yeah.
people know at this point that you
Yeah.
blinded a man in one eye
Yeah.
for his
Well,
race.
and so for all we know, Mark Wahlberg is totally sort of redeemed himself. Well, maybe not redeemed. I don't think you can redeem yourself, but maybe he's like changed as a person. Maybe he's like not.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't think I would make the claim that he once a racist, forever a racist. But this it's the trailer itself, which like I don't know. It's a bold choice for it to like 2 seconds into the trailer. First of all, 2 seconds and he starts beating up Post Malone.
Post
Right.
Malone.
I think what it is that, yes, I agree with you that I'm not going to defend him. I don't know him.
Right.
But like he was young when it happened, and it's like, who knows what journey he's been on.
Right. Who knows? I don't know.
It's more, it's
I
the
think
optics and it's the
well,
like.
the fact that he asked the state for a pardon.
Oh yeah, for his Wahlburgers, right?
Something like it was, and that was within like the last 5 years.
Any of you have eaten at Wahlburgers?
No,
I have eaten at the Wahlburgers at Logan Airport in Boston because that's, what you do when you're at
Right.
the Logan Airport in Boston. And it is disgusting. Or at least that one was. It was Mark, if you're listening, boo. Also on the racism, on the hate.
yeah, boo on
And
the hate
secondly,
crime.
the racism, the
Yeah,
hate
right.
crime. Your second worst crime.
Right,
but,
the first
this
thing
is-
is making a terrible chain restaurant.
Right. This is sort of like it's the yeah. If people can look at this trailer and not think about it, then fine, But like also, if this was a different actor in this trailer, I don't think I'd be interested in this. I don't know.
Some of the rest of the cat, like Winston Duke and
Winston Duke, yeah.
Alan Arkin.
Yeah. I guess what it is, did you guys get any personality? Like, I could barely tell what the plot was for most
No,
of it.
I didn't know.
It's very generic. It's a Peter Berg movie.
Well, it's like one of these like it really kind of hit all of the bingo card things on these like tough guy Mark Wahlberg what have you, is where it's like you start out in prison and like, you know, this guy comes up and he's hassling you and you beat him up and you beat up Post Malone. That part actually I enjoyed, but you beat up Post Malone and then you get out of prison and then you're like, you know like I want, you know, my old girlfriend back. And his old girlfriend is like, you were in prison. And he's like, wow, look at this crazy girl. She doesn't want to date me anymore.
Right.
And then you go to your buddy's house and it's like, well, your room has been taken over by this random guy, but you'll have to get along.
Right.
And then after that, it's like, oh, now I'm just getting a coffee and he's attacked by a man with a machete, which again, so here's the thing. If you're going to have Mark Wahlberg beat up a person of color in your trailer, maybe don't have that person wielding a machete. Like maybe take a few steps back and think about that just a minute.
I guess it's technically better than if the person's just walking down the street not doing anything and Mark Wahlberg runs up to him.
In the film's defense, machetes are wicked cool.
Yeah.
That's true.
At this point in the trailer, that's when I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is about.
Right. And
like
then
the film is yet to explain itself.
And then the next cut to like another explanation in the trailer is like, I was framed by the government. And then now that's a thing. Now they've got like the feds on them, I guess, and corrupt cops, but also like just like having like fights with machete wielding ruffians. It's complete. It's just like the kind of like, I don't know, like underdog cop pap where it's like basically an excuse to see Mark Wahlberg wail on some guys for an hour and a half, I guess.
Apparently based off a novel.
No.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
That's
I refuse to believe that.
Not possible.
Right. Here's
Was it written on a roll of toilet paper?
Right.
And they wrote and then a random guy just comes at him with a machete and then he throws a chair on his head and then he drives a car into the store.
I will say the writer, the screenwriter, it's also like, it's one of those things where I was watching this trailer and I was like, I wonder if it's like really quirky and that's why, like, I wonder if there's like a writer behind it, that the trailer is badly cut. So I looked up the writer to try to get some insight, and it just made it worse.
Uh-oh.
Because it's the writer of Assassins, L.A. Confidential, Conspiracy Theory, The Postman, Payback, A Knight's Tale, Mystic River, Man on Fire, and Green Zone, and the new Robin Hood, the one with
Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx.
No, not that new. Sorry, the 2010 one with Russell Crowe. And that lineup, I'm just like, well, that doesn't help me know if this is going to be good or bad. That's such a random assortment of films.
Man on Fire and A Knight's Tale.
Yeah. That sounds like a crime spree.
Right? It's like, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess the best thing this has going for it is that it's on Netflix, and that maybe that'll make me watch it.
Right, because you don't have to physically move to watch it. Yeah.
Right. I applaud Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg for giving me the minimal amount of effort on my end to watch their new film.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Although we could do the entire podcast about this one.
No, I kind of want to move on.
Okay. The Last Thing He Wanted.
Oh, this one.
It's got the Batflex. It's got Anne Hathaway. It's got a great cast. Yeah, it's got Willem.
I thought it was about
Defriend or Defoe.
Willem Defriend. I thought it was about Iran-Contra for. Is it?
It is, right?
Okay.
It has to be because it's set in 1984,
Well,
and it's like she mentions the Contras. Mm-hmm. My worry about this film, and this one's based on a book, right? And my worry about the film is it just uses the Iran-Contra scandal as like a backdrop for this random woman's growth as a person.
Right. That's what it looks. It looks like a fictional thriller against the backdrop of the real thing, which is sort of I went on a real journey watching this trailer, because at first I was like, ooh, like an Iran-Contra movie with this great cast, this could be interesting, and then it became clear that it was like not that.
Right. Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm less excited.
Yeah, and I'm worried. It gives me the impression that it would be something like, it's a morally gray thing, right? Because the Contras, I mean, they're bad and they kill people, but the Sandinistas, I mean, they're socialists. So I don't know. Maybe we should.
Same diff.
Maybe we should sell our guns to them. I don't know. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Obviously, I'm judging it without having seen anything but the trailer. I guess that's the point of this podcast.
I don't know. Yes. I'm looking this one up too. It's also based off a novel.
Yes.
But the director, Dees Rees, her name is.
Dees Rees.
Great fucking name.
Yeah.
She did Mudbound. I guess she was nominated for it. Let's see. She was the first black woman to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for Mudbound.
Cool.
She hasn't done much, but
oof, harsh, Dave. Jeez.
Sorry. In terms of volume, she hasn't done much. She's clearly done way
Dave's
more in her
harsh.
life than most people
get
have.
the let out. One Oscar nomination.
Oscar?
Wow.
I think I really like a good fucking thriller, political thriller. What's really doing this for me is the presence of Rosie Perez. You don't see Rosie Perez often anymore.
Well, she's having a year this year. She's in Birds of Prey as well.
She is? Oh, and she was in The Dead Don't Die. She didn't have a big role in The Dead Don't Die. But
we're in the
Perez-essence. Yeah.
The Rosie-essence.
Remind me, what was her breakout?
What would people know her for? I guess White Man Can't Jump.
She was the dance coordinator for the Fly Girls on In Living Color.
She was. Fearless? Wasn't she in Fearless? Classic movie Fearless, everybody knows.
She might have been.
Yeah. She was also in Do the Right Thing. That's the thing that I think,
yes, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. I like a good political thriller, so
sure.
We'll see on this one. It's Netflix too, right?
Yeah, I think every trailer this week is Netflix, just about.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we could just watch it by turning Netflix on and scrolling through, and then it plays the whole goddamn movie as you're scrolling through. Exactly.
Because that's one of those things that Netflix does that you sort of know, like, this is an evil company.
Yeah.
Like, this is an evil thing for a company to do. They know we don't like this.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, next trailer is Horse Girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked this one.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
I mean, it's with any of these like sort of surreal mystery box movies, it can always go very wrong. Mm-hmm. But I think that I liked what I saw. It actually reminded me of this short story by, can I look it up?
Yeah, look it up.
I think it's worth people reading it.
I'm very, very curious about this film. Just while you're looking that up, I will say that this is the writer of I Heart Huckabees, which, shit. That alone makes me very curious about this.
Yeah, I've never actually seen that.
Oh, that movie is fucking crazy.
So there was a short story by Amy Bonifant, in her book, The Wrong Heaven, and it's this short, I guess, surreal, magical realism thing where you can like get an injection and turn into a horse, and one of the characters wants to turn into a horse, and the other character wants to like get pregnant and have a baby. Okay. And it's kind of a, it's like magical realism. It's sort of symbolic about like bodily changes and transformations. And this one woman just like decides, I just want to be a horse and run free. And you turn into a physical horse, and
it's like a literal horse squirrel.
Like a literal horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it had a similar vibe. I know that the horse girl one is not necessarily going to be about her turning into a horse. One can only hope.
When I saw the title Horse Girl, I was like,
Actually,
ooh, and
yeah.
then started watching and was like, oh.
Yeah, I feel like nothing you're describing is what is in the trailer. Like,
No, but it's a
like I feel like it has absolutely nothing to do with that
the
story.
similarity,
you're talking about.
Tom, the similarity, if you'll notice, is the word horse
That's true.
is used in both contexts.
And the word girl.
Right.
No, it's Alison Brie who's like starting to have hallucinations and thinks and it's like waking up in strange places with missing time. So she starts to think that maybe she's being abducted by aliens, and she has a history of like her grandmother was schizophrenic or would lose time.
I bet it's that she is turning into a horse, and you guys are gonna be so wrong.
That could be.
We're gonna watch this. We're like, shit.
I would love
turning into a
nothing
horse.
more than to be proven wrong in that exact way about this film.
She there's this big pile of grassy poop in the middle of her living room. She's like, where did this come from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. This is. I assume this is just about. It's about mental health.
Yeah.
With this woman, I kind of hope for the sake of the trailer that the answer isn't it's actually aliens.
I want it to be it's actually horse aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or aliens that turn her into a horse. This trailer, did you notice if you watch this trailer with the sound off, you think it's just a regular old romantic comedy because the graphics are very playful. Mm-hmm. But the music is very sinister, and the things they're actually
she does
saying.
get a bloody nose and cries it, so it doesn't. Part of it looks.
Well, the visuals don't all line up to be rom-com.
Right.
No, certainly.
No. There's just there's parts.
But it does definitely flip back and forth between the rom-com and just body horror. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, this looks very interesting though. Is this also Netflix?
I think so.
Okay, I think this is the last Netflix on this list.
Yeah,
we're half and half. I don't know. This is definitely the most
Neapolitan of trailers.
Right. This is one of the most compelling trailers of this week. We were talking about before we record. This is a weird week for trailers because it's sort of a it's I won't call it an off week because some of these movies are interesting, but normally they dump some big thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, at least once a week there's a trailer that's significant, and these are all little thrillers. And I don't know how I feel about that. I guess good.
I mean, it's that time of year. Things are slowing down.
Next trailer is The Night Clerk.
This looks like Sliver told from Billy Baldwin's point of view.
I don't think anybody's going to get that.
I didn't. Absolutely not. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's Ty Sheridan, the most boringest human being alive.
Is that the night clerk in this?
He's the night clerk. Yeah, he's Ready Player One.
That's where I know him from.
I think he's also Cyclops in the new ones.
Yep.
He's a weirdo who's a night watchman who has cameras in everybody's hotel room.
And is he the hero?
I don't know. He may have murdered this lady.
Maybe you'll find out if you watch the movie.
I still hope he's not the murderer.
Oh, I hope a voice in the murderer. That would be such a surprising turn of events.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about this movie.
I guess I don't, but I also do because I love shitty thrillers.
Yeah, Helen Hunt's in it. That's something.
Yeah.
I got
and John
and,
Leguizamo. Oh, sorry.
Put me in my place if I'm wrong here, but I got the sense that they're trying to make him read as on the autism spectrum. And
something like that, yeah.
Which concerns me.
Yes.
Because any movie where it's maybe he's the sinister murderer and he's spying on all these people and he's on the I don't know. It's just
yes.
First of all, from an artistic standpoint, it's boring where it's
it's very boring, yeah.
Very boring. From a society standpoint, it's also bad given the whole stigmatization of people on the autism spectrum and,
Right.
So, but it's just I don't know.
It's a producer being how people on the spectrum have a really hard time sometimes. Let's demonize them. No, we talked about this with the John Travolta movie, The Fanatic, which absolutely has some great stuff in it. But one of the weird things they you can't quite tell, but he's sort of supposed to be on the spectrum, but it's not really. It's hard to tell again, and he's also like a sociopath,
right?
And they don't like separate those two ideas, and it's like it's not the same thing. It's I got that vibe from this trailer as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just like, I like Johnny Legs, I like Helen Hunt. This premise is gross to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean. Well, it's basically he just watches people, and then he witnesses a murder, and I assume he didn't actually do it, because then if he did it, then what the fuck is the point of the...
What I would be, what I would be interested in would be a movie about like a forced confession from someone on the autism spectrum, because that's like an actual issue where people who are, maybe neurodivergent or something, especially get preyed upon when they're in the sort of interview room, and they may not be as savvy in terms of like understanding like what, like, first of all, that they can say no to stuff, and also just like, I think it's like sometimes easier to take advantage of people who struggle in social contexts in like a police situation. So I think that would be very interesting.
That would be extremely interesting.
I didn't get that vibe from this trailer. I hope I'm wrong. I hope maybe that's actually what it is. That would be cool.
To give you guys an idea, it's the writer-director of Original Sin and Gia and Body Shots. Also wrote Bonfire of the Vanities, and The Witches of Eastwick.
Wait, did you say Bonfire of
the Vanities.
Bonfire.
So it's probably going to be
over a broken bong.
Like a 90s thriller, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it looks like Sliver.
Yeah. So everything you guys have said is true. I'm still going to watch this.
How dare you?
Yeah.
After all we've told you.
Yeah, I'm still going to watch
everything
this
we've said.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think we found who the son of a bitch is.
We found him.
It was you all along, Dave.
It was you all along. I'm so betrayed.
You, Dave. You're the son of a bitch.
I don't know why this is the like running
Edwin,
theme. Yeah.
Fun fact, if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, that's the voice Alan Tudyk is doing for the King of Candy.
Yeah. I think somehow I knew that, even without knowing that.
Yeah. Next trailer is The Lodge.
I have been... Dave, you and I have been talking about The Lodge for like a year now.
Yes.
So I'm glad we're finally getting to see it.
All right. I'm very suspicious of this movie, and Tom, I think you know why.
Well, it's really creepy.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of this whole lodge situation. It looks super haunted.
I think...
Because of the directors. It's from the directors of Goodnight Mommy.
It's the directors of Goodnight Mommy and writers.
Well,
and
is that a creepy child horror movie? Is that
Yes.
It's... The twist in Goodnight Mommy is obvious, but the execution is pretty striking.
Is it like a turn of... Is it like the turn of the screw twist where it's like the child wasn't the creepy child, it was the mommy the whole time?
Well, no. All right. Here's my frustration with Goodnight Mommy is there's like a really good horror movie idea in it, and they like try to compound it with this weird twist, and I guess it's this thing where there's a certain style of slow burn horror that's very good now, but I think just because a director is good at doing that doesn't mean they're good at writing. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of that where it was very well executed, but I thought the writing was garbage.
Yeah.
The core premise that the movie should have been was these two kids, their mom gets surgery and her face is wrapped up, and they become convinced that she's not really their mom. And they end up tying her up and essentially torturing and interrogating her. And that's a really creepy, like, premise of just like trying to convince your kids that you're who you say they are. Then they add, and I guess I won't spoil it, but they add one of the most telegraphed twists in the movie, and it's like, why is this in there? It's the very stupid.
The rest of the movie is executed so well that like you're not sure if the mom is really the mom.
Yes, they do it where it's like, yeah. So this looks really good, The Lodge, but it's also essentially the same plot. it's kids who are stuck with a woman who is like part of a cult, and they're like suspicious of her. So these directors, they got some kind of issue.
Yeah.
With parents, specifically moms.
Specifically moms.
Yeah. But it's sort of it looks really good. I'm weary of it because of Goodnight Mommy, because I didn't think that was particularly like it was well done, but then when it came down to it, it was like, meh. I didn't feel anything from it ultimately.
I'm also just I don't know. I mean, maybe when I see like a horror movie where it's like, oh, you've been in a creepy cult, now here's a creepy, like, isn't religion scary sometimes? It's got a lot of extra legwork to convince me that it's going to be something new.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I sort of roll my eyes a little bit at creepy Christians. Like you've got to really do something extra for me to be like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's not a novel idea, the whole, like, I don't know, inverted cross, like, creepy cult thing. I did like the cult thing of, like, you're the only survivor of, like a cult that did, like a
Jonestown. Yeah.
Jonestown. I think that's interesting. And then they kind of, at least for me, just based on the trailer, they kind of, like, beefed it with just, like, involving the kind of, I don't know, just, like, creepy religion and like oh, you know, I don't know, it's like I
there's a it's not the same. There's a Chuck Palahniuk book called Survivor that they've constantly been trying to adapt, that's about the guy who's goes out, he's in part of a cult, and then they do this thing where they like let their cultists go out for like a little bit of time to experience the world, and while he's doing that they mass suicide without him. And so it's this cultist, and there's like a couple of them, and it's this cultist who's basically like now having to deal with the world, and then someone starts killing the remaining cultists, and that's the plot. And then it's Chuck Palahniuk, so it goes
completely
stupid
off
out
the
of
rails,
control.
Yeah.
But like I always like that premise more when dealing with something like this.
right.
Because cults are fascinating.
Yeah.
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 This I don't know. It could be
No,
good.
I'm still super excited for The Lodge, and I'm going to watch the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm
comes
gonna
out.
watch the shit out of it.
Plus, there's a wild Alicia Silverstone in it.
Oh yeah, she doesn't last long in it. Apparently, it's not a big role. I mean,
Gotcha.
but I want like.
Well, she's in the
Dies
very
in
end
the
of the trailer.
first 5 seconds.
During the opening credits, she just walks on screen. It's like, hi, I'm TV's Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah. That was one of those drawing things that she was in it, because it's like, where has she been? She's been puking in her kids' mouths.
Yeah,
She's been feeding them like baby birds.
Vomiting into her kids' faces.
Yeah.
Just like a
Which is
hose,
fine.
just like a food hose into her kids' throats.
Remember when that was an
So they
outrage,
can
and
eat.
honestly, now it's like quaint.
Yeah, who
That
gives
people-
a shit?
Wait.
Like, it's
what?
weird.
Hang on.
She had a thing
she
where
does
she-
birding. She does birding. She chews up her baby's food and spits it into their mouths for them.
Oh, I see.
She probably doesn't still do it, because I think this
I'm
was
sure the
years
kids
ago,
are
and they're
older, yeah,
old.
but-
like a Game
yeah.
of Thrones moment where
Yeah.
like an 11-year-old boy goes up and like, I'm hungry, mother.
Yeah. Yeah. But
she
like,
chews up his fucking hot pocket for him.
I remember that was an outrage before, like anti-vaxxing was an outrage. So now it's
Yeah.
just like,
I'm
oh, fine.
sure Alicia is an anti-vaxxer if she's chewing up
I
her
don't-
kids' food for them.
I'm not gonna just write her off as an anti-vaxxer, because I haven't
Does
heard
she just
anything,
like,
but-
is she not, okay, hang on, maybe she's not an anti-vaxxer, but she's got to swish that vaccine around in her mouth first.
right, and baby bird it to the kids.
And just kind of like swish it around in her mouth and then bite them on the arm.
Yeah. Inject them with her vax venom.
Yeah, so the Lodge.
So The Lodge, yeah.
I don't know, it's fine. The final trailer is Vivarium. We talked about this last week on movies that deserve more hype, but
did.
the actual trailer is here.
Vivarium with Jesse Eisenberg. It's so exciting.
Oh boy, that's just the Eisenberg, I tell you.
I thought he made a very convincing Zuckerberg, don't you?
And that Imogen Poots.
She's
What a
British. She's British. She's not something.
I'm kind of less interested in this movie now that I've seen the trailer.
It's definitely... I don't know. This feels like a movie that I feel obligated. I feel like bullied to go to because I watched the trailer and I'm like, all right, I'll find out what this is.
Fine, fucking hell.
But
it's a metaphor for raising children.
right.
For living in suburbia.
It's a metaphor for the way that millennials struggle to find the funds to raise a family and find a home and love.
That was the other. I don't know if it is a millennial thing. Is there are just these people are trapped with this really nice house in a yard and someone's sending them food. And I was like, that sounds great.
Okay, Dave. They're completely alone in a neighborhood that is. All the houses are identical. They're trapped in their house forever, completely alone.
But they don't have to pay rent.
That is
and
true.
get a job.
Dave, you're describing jail.
Yeah. Well, I've gone on the record several times.
What are the crimes you can do? Wait, guys, what are crimes you can do?
Like that I can do?
No, that one could do.
To go to jail?
Yeah,
no.
Murder, that's a good one. We could rob a liquor store.
Sure.
No, jail's
classic.
not it's fun jokes. Good jokes, fun goose. Jail is actual torture.
No, jail's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if
I'm saying the basic things that Dave is describing could also be said about prison.
Right. I've said it a lot of times. If jail had internet, I'd probably be okay with it.
No, it's torture. It's super torture.
All right, if I don't have to leave. No, I know. This is like. All right, I guess. All right, here's a better way of saying it, which is in this movie. If alien overlords put us all in little cubes and just gave us stuff.
So if you're in jail in
I've talked to a lot
Sweden.
about.
If you're in Swedish jail.
Yes, Swedish jail.
Okay.
Or robot overlords. If you wake up and you're in a white cube and there's a paste that comes out of the wall and you eat that and you can just watch TV and bitch on the internet.
What kind of paste are we talking?
It's any kind of paste, but delicious paste. Then I could probably survive that.
You just kind of want to be a hamster.
Paste.
Yes, I could be a hamster.
Paste. Yeah, there's a Twilight Zone episode that's like that with Roddy McDowall, I believe.
Yeah.
And they try to use a phone, and it's this is a child's phone. I don't remember that one. What is it like? They're in an exhibit.
He's in a zoo. He's an astronaut, and he gets put in a zoo.
I'm just saying that this movie, it didn't seem like the worst fate.
To me, I don't know. You get I don't know. It seems pretty bad, Dave.
You get nobody wants. Yeah. Well, you just said jail is terrible. I'd rather
also, did
live
you see
in
the part
suburb
where they get mailed a boy?
Yeah.
They get a boy mailed to them, and then they have to raise the boy to escape, and the boy screams at it screams at them in this shrill alien scream.
But if you don't need to escape, you just let the boy go in the neighborhood and you say you're free.
No, I think the boy is going to come back and scream. It's just, it seems to enjoy the screaming.
Yeah.
Right. He's like a boy-shaped bat. He's just going to wander. You're going to find him in a corner of the ceiling shrieking at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine.
I get the sense of this movie is the anxieties of millennials trying to enter that sort of next stage of life that for our parents is maybe easier for in some cases where it's getting a house and starting a family, and now it's I don't know, kind of more difficult. Maybe it's tapping into those anxieties, which could be interesting.
The movie is definitely.
I was gonna say I think it also seems to be about the very obvious and sort of overstated metaphor that suburbia is a trap.
Yeah, I think the movie, what it needs to do because of this trailer is it has to impress me more than it's doing.
Right.
Because right now, I think it thinks it's being real smart.
Jesse Eisenberg's got to do some sick parkour flips.
Exactly.
Dude, if he parkours across all those houses and that's how they escape.
Right.
I'll buy 10 tickets.
Yeah. But there needs to be more. There just needs to be more.
They use equipment from the other houses to just build a giant house robot made out of houses.
Right.
What now metaphor for suburban life? What now? What of my giant house robot?
This is why I hated The Lobster. and everybody loved The Lobster. But like in the first 20 minutes of The Lobster, it was just like, oh, okay, so I see. You're making like a metaphor about the expectations we put on us about love and relationships. And then the movie kept going, and it just kept repeating that. And I was like, no, I got it. It's very clever.
Right,
you can change the plot at any point.
With The Lobster and with this movie, I get a very like sort of short film you find on YouTube vibe, where it's like one of those fun short films you kind of like. I saw there was a short film, I wish I remembered what it's called, but it's like this couple like orders a cabinet, and then this weird alien baby comes out of the cabinet, and they have to raise this disgusting screaming alien, and they just feel like compelled to raise it, I guess. And they raise it, and then it turns into a disgusting, horrible monster, and then it kills them in a rage. I guess they interrupt his Xbox or something, and it kills them. And the monster momentarily kind of panics a little bit, because like he'd killed his like normal human parents, and then like a car comes up, and it's like this like the same guy who delivered the cabinet, and then the monster comes out, and he's like, come on, it's time to go. And like and you get the sense that like, oh, okay, they just made this couple raise this monster, and now he's going off to...
That's a short?
Yeah, it's a short. And I don't know, I liked it. It had a fun vibe.
Right, but then if it's 2 hours,
if it was 2 hours,
I get it.
I couldn't do it. That wouldn't do it for me, no. Like, it was 10 minutes. That was good.
Yeah, this feels like it could be a short. I guess that's what it is. Is this trailer, it's like you're going to have to expand on this so much more, movie.
I don't know. I think I could watch Jesse Eisenberg have a panic attack for 2 hours. That's fine. Sure, why not?
Only if he's parkouring.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That's it for trailers, you guys.
Yeah. Let's go move into stories.
News stories. There wasn't much this week, as evidenced by the first headline, which is that Hugo Weaving won't be in the new Matrix.
Well, darn it.
Yeah.
I kind of figured.
Well, gosh darn it.
Hold on, everybody. I kind of want them to do, like, no, he's not going to be in it, but then, like, the ending of this one is, like, Agent Smith shows up, and then you're like, oh, shit! And then they got to make more.
A Hugo Weaving hand bursts out of the ground.
Exactly.
Clad in Super Shredder's gauntlet.
I actually don't know too much about this new Matrix thing they're doing. So is it the Wachowski sisters doing it again, or
I think one of them?
Right?
I think it's just Lana.
Really?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Sense8, but I do feel like the Wachowski sisters over time, as they got more power, there were those directors that, like, the more power they get, the worse their films get, or the more sloppy their writing gets. So I don't know. At the same time, it's a new Matrix, and I don't know. I liked the dumb sequels. So
is this a sequel or a prequel? Like,
it's a sequel.
Yeah, which
a squeakquel, if you will.
A squeakquel. Yeah. And it has
Shipwrecked.
It's got Keanu in it, which that alone worries me.
It has Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss. Well, I assume there'll be computer programs.
Yeah, I hope there'll just be cameos.
I don't know. It seems like Keanu has a substantial role.
Well, but Carrie-Anne Moss was Trinity, who's like super extremely dead, right?
So is Keanu.
Exactly. So is Keanu.
Oh, that's right. He did die in that last movie, didn't he?
Yeah, Keanu. They sort of do he Jesus's, and then they like take him away, and they say like, "Will we ever see him again?" And they're like, "I don't know." Like they leave it open, but Carrie-Anne Moss gets impaled several times. But I guess the little spider computers could have I think it's you say, Tom, that they uploaded their brains, and now they're
right, and they've been jacking in and out of the Matrix for so long that who's to say there isn't some sort of imprint of them in the Matrix?
And they've just gracefully aged their bodies.
Exactly.
Yes, as their consciousnesses age.
Right. This is how I think I would look in 5 years, 10 years.
This is how old my thoughts feel.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm gonna watch it.
But he is brave to in the Matrix, as he's thought himself 20 years old or whatever it is, and then he's thought himself a girlfriend who's is 10 years younger than him, which is it's so progressive.
Here's my thing with the Matrix, and this is of course I'll watch it. But you guys seen the Animatrixes? Did you see?
Yeah.
I did not.
You haven't seen the Animatrixes, Tom?
Nope.
You
Wow.
filthy casual.
The Matrix is gonna suffer from the same thing Star Wars is suffering, which is that they don't understand that the world is expansive, and because it's expansive, they don't have to follow the same goddamn 3 characters and the same plot line.
That's true.
The last thing I want is more machine wars and that crap.
Yeah, no, I don't. That was my least. I don't care about that. Like
Yeah.
them like fighting the squid monsters, the Sentinels, and like actual Zion. Don't care about any of that. I just want to be in the Matrix.
Exactly, and that's what the Animatrixes are. Is there a series of like smaller stories that completely don't involve the main characters that just exist in the Matrix? And they did stuff where it was like a haunted house type situation where kids are going to this house that's glitching out, but no one knows what it means because no one knows what the Matrix is. And they did shit
cool.
like that, where it's like ways we can play with the Matrix in that universe. They did the creator of Aeon Flux did a one where it's about them turning a machine to work for the humans, and they put the machine in their own Matrix and like take it on this crazy fucking trip. Like it was a realization of like you can do so much with this world. So like last thing I kind of want is just another.
Well, I think
that
they may do that if this one does well, but I think they wouldn't have got a 4th one made if they didn't have Keanu in it.
Yes.
Like it's been so long, and he was the face of that franchise. So it's like, well, we need to have Keanu in this one.
I would love it if like if Keanu was just like he is a robot, and it's just Keanu's face on like a robot body, like a big orb with a bunch of tentacles, and it's like
it's like the robot baby at the end of the last one, but Keanu's face.
Right, exactly. And it's just like
glorious. And
he's just like going around going like, "Hey guys."
Every time he enters a room, everybody goes, "Ah! Oh, hi Neo." Oh, Jesus.
I wish I could eat.
It's like his head on like a washing machine.
Hey, you want to put those dirty clothes in me? No. I don't mean that in a weird way. You want to put those dirty clothes in me?
No, I mean that in the very literal sense.
I want his character to be constantly talking about how he wishes he could eat, and like other people are eating. Is like, what's that like?
Put them in me, and I'm gonna pretend like I'm eating the dirty clothes. Yum 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 yum. I don't feel anything.
That's perfect. Moving to the next story. Channing Tatum is starring in a Disney comedy called Bob the Musical. I just wanted to point this out because he hasn't been in a live action film since 2017, and like I've missed Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
and even then it was the Kingsman sequel, and it was like, I
haven't seen a single Kingsman movie, so I'm good.
Yeah, so like I don't know. The Taters is back, you guys.
He's Tate Yummy.
Yeah. He is. He's the best.
I like how it's just okay. Like we've all agreed it's okay to objectify Channing Tatum.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've just like it's.
No,
like,
he likes it.
He likes it.
Yeah. I don't know. He's Magic Mike. It's Channing Tatum. It's nice. Like he's one of those actors where it's like, as far as I know, I hope someone doesn't like tweet some fucking news story about him that's gonna ruin my dreams, but he's like a pure soul. He's a Keanu to me,
right?
Where it's like, oh, he's so good,
a muscly Keanu,
right? And then he showed up in Foxcatcher, and he's like, and by the way, I can act, right? And it's like, oh, cool, and he's like, but I'm not going to do that anymore,
right?
I'm just going to do fun stuff like 22 Jump Street and Hail Caesar.
Yeah,
it's like when you're hot and talented like me, you can do whatever you want.
So yeah, Bob the Musical. Apparently they've been trying to make whatever this is for a while.
I don't know anything about Bob the Musical. No idea what it is.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I'm more just excited to see Channing Tatum's name.
Sure.
All right, final piece of news that this is like developing, is that Bad Robot is going to make some film and TV projects based on Justice League Dark. Tom, do you have an opinion on this?
It could be cool. That's like the Constantine stuff.
Okay.
So
I've lost
It could
faith
be
in
J.J.
J.J. Abrams, but this isn't
No,
necessarily
he
him.
sucks. He completely sucks.
Right.
But maybe he'll just produce it and actually get some real writers and directors to make these.
Yeah, he's feeling more and more like a Lucas, where it's like Lucas producing things that's like great. Lucas like directing and writing, it's like, oh no.
No, get him away. Get him out of the room.
Yeah.
Lock the door.
So yeah, we'll see. But that's it. That's it for news story. Do you have a take on this?
I kind of lost the thread. What movie is J.J. Abrams
Justice
doing?
League Dark. The
I see. Yeah.
Comics.
Eh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked the Justice League cartoons, the animated series, and I thought those were cool. And I don't know. I mean, like, so this would be a live action thing.
Yeah, it's very,
Presumably.
very, yeah.
And like a TV series or a movie?
They're saying both TV and
Both.
film stuff.
I don't know. I'm sort of, I don't know. I think I'm like starting to get a little worn out on the superhero genre because I don't think that they know how to, like, Marvel did a real gangbusters kind of job on it and made this thing that everyone really liked. And now I'm not sure I know what they're going to do that's going to actually...
I don't think they're sure either.
Yeah, it feels more like a thing where it's like, well, Marvel did this and it was very popular, so let's do ours now.
Yeah.
Which is actually what's fun about that is how originally the comics were, where it's like we're gonna have, it's like there's like one version of a hero and then like Marvel would copy that or vice versa, or DC would copy it, and it's like, well, I have Ant-Man. Oh yeah, well I have Spider Boy.
I don't know. It definitely feels like after the Marvel thing, like what's going to happen is, and maybe the system will work for a little bit, is they just jammed superheroes down our throats with the Avengers Endgame, and we wanted it. We loved it. And they know that, like, okay, that was a lot, and maybe they'll just like sort of scatter and be like, okay, everybody, let's just take a breather. Hey, here's the new Spider-Man. Here's the new. I guess they just got a writer for Captain Marvel, and like they'll slowly start coming back together, and then they'll find some sort of new thing to try to jam down our throats, and we'll love it. Or it'll be like Westerns, and we'll just forget about them. I don't know. Who can say?
See.
Yeah, the next couple of years, I feel like we're going to find out soon. Maybe we'll all get Avatar fever. Maybe after the new Avatars, we'll be like, this is what we want from now on.
I see that Avatar.
Yeah, no, that Avatar.
I'd still love like a better adaptation of the kids show Avatar, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. It was good. It was fine. Like, the kids show was great. Don't need to remake it.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Okay. That's fair. All right, so that's it for news stories, you guys.
Yeah. Those were some news stories. Those were some stories about the news.
I'm going to let me do a Howard Dean scream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah!
Dave.
Yes, Tom.
Dave.
Yes, Tom.
Dave.
Do you have a movie that perhaps deserves a little more hype?
Yes, Tom.
Oh, good.
I do.
Oh, good.
I do have that, and I'm very excited about this one.
Oh, yeah?
This is called The Vast of Night.
Okay.
It is coming out March 13th. According to the IMDb, I couldn't find much on it. It's just been purchased by Amazon. It's been going around the festivals. It's got an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. You guys watched the trailers that I laid down? Mm-hmm. The first one is really cool. It is the story.
First one is wild.
Yeah. Especially when you know that this is a micro budget film. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it was very small budget, shot in Ohio. It's just it takes place in the 1950s in New Mexico, and it's about a switchboard operator and like a radio DJ. They discover a frequency that they believe is aliens, and it's like a very slow burn, supernatural, paranormal, like X-Files-esque film. The director, when you watch the trailers, you'll know the director was very inspired by David Fincher. Mm-hmm.
You can tell, for sure.
It's got a lot of these like long oneers that flow through areas in this really ominous way. Which again, it's like the making of this sound is like already incredible when I like looked into it. Like the two trailers, one of them's a oneer from this radio station that goes through a small town into a basketball game, and it's all period accurate. And I guess like for that basketball game, they because I guess like the 3-point line didn't exist in the 50s, so they like repainted the court again, micro budget. So the director's like, this cost a lot of our budget, but it was worth it. And like, so it's like period accurate basketball court, and then they use like bungees and golf carts and cranes and all these pass offs to do that oneer. And it I guess continues through the basketball game out the bleachers, or through the bleachers out the window. It's a lot of attention to detail, really well shot, micro budget supernatural film, and it just looks really fucking cool.
I like the flavor of it. It makes me feel sort of like not quite David Lynch, a little bit of like the Welcome to Night Vale thing, but again, it's not. It's like, but before it descends, it's like that moment before a town descends into surreal chaos with like that sort of like, okay, this is the town when it was normal before this like weird surreal ET stuff like went down.
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe. Again,
I think I'm super into this. Both trailers were amazing.
Yes. Again, very slow burn. And yeah, Amazon picked it up immediately, and they were just like, yeah, we really want this. So I assume it's probably, I think it's going to be like limited theatrical release, and then people will find it on streaming. And every review of it is basically, it reminds me of the reviews for It Follows, where they're like, oh, this guy's going to have a career, where they're just like, oh yeah, we can't wait to see the next 10 films this person does. So
cool.
I don't know. Everybody go check out this trailer. The Vast of Night, I believe that's what I called it just now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's neat. And I like the I feel like the period like clothing, this is maybe a minor point, but the costume design is nice, and I like that it seems like they're really trying to get it correct and not like thing of like, this is what people think people wore in like the 40s and 50s.
One of the reviews said there's no like winky period stuff where they're like they talk about the communists. That's pretty much it. Like there's nothing where it's like, oh, check it out, we're in the 50s. Like they
look
said
at my poodle skirt, huh?
Yeah, like the characters feel like they're existing in that time. Yeah, the attention to detail. By the way, because it's a radio station. Apparently, they went to the Oklahoma City Museum of Telephone History and found switchboard collectors in the area, and then found a functional switchboard from that era, and then had someone modify it and make it a working switchboard.
That's
so you could call it on your cell phone. And I don't know why they needed to do that, but I'm like, that's what I love about it, is it's micro budget uncompromising in like what the director wanted to do.
Right.
And that's really cool to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a sode.
Yeah, it feels like a sode.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you so much for being on the show again.
Of course, thank you for having me. I tried harder not to completely derail the show.
You did good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I tried to stay focused. I put like, Dave has a little piece of chicken that he's just kind of holding out to me, like like near the microphone, so I'm kind of like focused on that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess you got your plugs out at the beginning of the episode.
You want to plug at the you want to do a sandwich? Plug sandwich?
Yeah, let me do it again. I host a show called Creature Feature. It's about animal biology, human psychology, and where they intersect in the sexy middle. And then I also am Katie Goldin on Twitter, and Pro Bird Rights, where I am a bird. A real bird.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a bird right now, you guys.
I am a bird, which is weird that a minute
bird.
ago the bit was that you were using chicken to kind of...
Well, yeah, you're a fucked up bird.
Give me that bird so I can add more bird to my bird.
Exactly. That's how
Increase
bird
my
works.
bird mass.
This is why,
Increase my birdness.
This is what they don't want us to know about cannibalism, is that's you gain the power.
You just become
That's
more
where
human.
Channing Tatum's muscles come from.
Yeah.
More humans.
That's why
all of the
taboo.
prey he's eaten.
Yeah. I guess I should tell everybody about our Patreon real quick, where we got our producers from. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We have a bunch of tiers. Our new tier is the Hypecast producer tier, where you also get some merch. You get a mug, I think, through Patreon, which I guess I haven't gotten mine. They said they're going to mail me one, so I get to see what it's like. But it's a Sheev mug, Sheev Palpatine. Everybody loves Sheev Palpatine. And then we'll randomly send you guys like merch and shit in the mail. I have, like I said, I know where they all live. So
yeah. We've got you all traced out on a map. Mm-hmm. You can also check out our store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get T-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, onesies, apparently. Really anything you want to put our artwork on, you can get that and have it sent to your house and have it forever.
Is there a Swole Garfield onesie?
I'm sure.
That's irresponsible.
I think people have...
That's inappropriate.
Tweeted us if you have gotten a onesie.
Or is it destiny?
Yeah. I want to see babies with Swolefield on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absorb my power, baby.
If there's no onesie you can buy, take your baby out and draw a little Swolefield on their tummy.
Mm-hmm. It will be a contest of wills to see whom absorbs whom.
Swolefield would like babies.
Yeah, literally, he'd eat them.
Yeah, he would gobble them up.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a fairy tale villain.
Increase his cat mass.
Increase mass.
All right, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.